Have you ever tried hypnotherapy? Have you ever been interested in knowing if you've lived a past life and what was you doing? Girl, let me tell it to you. I'm your host, Guruji Chastity, and in this episode, we are going to talk about my first hypnotherapy session. Let's get it! Okay, look, I'm so excited because this is a juicy topic. I want to say, going on a year now. Sometime last year, I tried to do mediumship training, and I want to say I failed miserably in terms of acquiring that goal to actually be a medium. Never got there, much like my hypnotherapy session. Never got to a past life, but what I got instead was some juicy information about myself, and that's what makes it exciting. And so to be honest, the main reason that the intention that I set for sure was based out of curiosity. The original desire was just curiosity, like, what is that? Give me some, okay? Give me some, right? That was my whole draw towards doing a past life regression, towards going under hypnotherapy. I was really, really curious. Now, once I acknowledged my curiosity, then my next intention was to genuinely just experience, just be, And the reason why I had that particular intention is because what I found to be true when I attempted mediumship training was that I fangirl a lot. Meaning, I didn't always practice spirituality, cause I don't know nobody in my family who get down like this, who think like I think, who see life and magic in the way that I see it. And so it's a difference between reading about it, between watching movies and TV and, seeing third party. But it's a difference when you start experiencing magic in your own life and you come from being dense. And dense meaning I just come from identifying solely with my body, and that's it. My five senses, ain't nothing else here. That's it. When we die, that's it, right? So I came from that background and did a lot of unlearning to realize all of the magic that's happening in the world. And then once I start experiencing it, I'd be like, right? The way I love to describe it is that imagine if it was your birthday and I'm just so excited for you and I'm bringing in a cake, but I'm shaking and shit. I'm like just so excited, shaking. Next thing you know, I dropped the fucking cake. That be me, bro. I just be so excited. I will drop your damn cake. I will drop my cake, and I'll be like, bro, don't do that. Don't drop the cake. Don't pick apart everything that's happening. Don't try to make sense of everything. Just be present, right? Just be present. And so that was my ultimate goal, right? Just be present. We can talk about it later. Like, we can figure it out. We can talk about it later. And that's also what I shared with my hypnotherapist, is that part of me feels like this ain't gonna work. Like, I don't know. But I don't know, right? And so we get there, and boom, I'm in it. Sis had walked me. She had walked me into the meditation, or the first one. We doing hypnotherapy. This is where I was really, excuse my language, but the nigga in me was like, bro, what the fuck is happening? Because we doing an exercise to get me into meditation, and she like, it's magnets on the top of your hand. And eventually the magnets, first they pulled my hands apart, but then they started pulling towards my face. And she's literally just slowly and slowly, you feel the magnets getting heavier and heavier. And I'm not kidding, y'all. I was sitting there like, holy shit. I'm in my head like, girl, your eyes is getting heavy. Girl, this hand is coming towards your face. Is you moving this motherfucking hand? And she'll be like, and you can start to feel your bicep constrict and stuff. But it was like, what is happening? It was like I'm consciously in this body, but this body is doing something. It was crazy, okay? And so we get past that part, and now we get in here. I need to be looking in rooms, opening doors, trying to see if I can see people. But what was happening was that I would start to get a churn. Y'all remember that episode of SpongeBob when Patrick started thinking for the first time and he smoked up the place and it smelled horrible? They was like, oh, what is that smell, Patrick? He was like, that's my brain, I'm thinking. They said, cut it out. Cut it out. That's what it felt. It was a chugga, 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 chugga. Like in my head. So I could literally feel my thinking self, my brain coming on. And it was like, dang, this took me back to what I originally experienced when I tried to do mediumship training. It was that what it felt like was that in that space, the only thing that it was used for was to get me out of my head. No matter what. Anytime that man asked me a question and tried to describe something, I would just go like, go back in my head. Now we thinking, and then I'm trying to relax back into my body. And so while I was under hypnotherapy, that's what was happening. You know, that's what was happening legit. To where like I'm feeling I'm feeling the existence of me, awareness being inside my body from the tip of my toes to the top of my head. I felt it all, right? But she would ask me a question and I would slowly say, okay, what we think, what we seeing, what we think about that. And then I would try to go do and come back down into my body, and eventually it started to hurt. Like I started to get a headache. It was too much. And so I was really grateful that she asked me, do you want to come out of it? Because again, the little pessimist in me was in my head, like, I just want to stop, I just want to quit. I knew this wasn't gonna work. I knew it, right? But she asked me, you want to come out? I said, yeah, bring me outside, and we did a little 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I was awake. And so what I described to her was my struggle, this big struggle of wanting to analyze, wanting to share, wanting to discuss, wanting to make logical the information. But then there was also this other part of me who was wildly interested in just being. She didn't have to make sense of shit. She just wanted to be there and feel it and experience it all. And it was a struggle. It was like I was trying to fight back and forth between these two idolizations of myself or ideations of myself, and it just made the experience, it felt like a challenge, or I would even start to say like I was doing something wrong. But this is where it gets juicy, right? Let me back up. I started to feel like I was doing something wrong because I'm in my mind's eye like, I think I see a dude, like, I don't know what the dough look like. Shit, I don't know, right? And you start to kind of be pessimistic and be like, bro, just take me out of it, right? But when we got out of it and I broke down, okay, this is what was happening, she was like, okay, now look. And this is where the real party began. Like, we thought the party was going to be inside my mind at the past life regression stage, but that's not where the party was. The party was in me learning so much about myself. So before we started the hypnotherapy session in general, she gave me an E and P test. Now, excuse me for doing all like that to try to articulate, because she was saying it to me and I thought she was saying EMP, and so I have been trying to research that and nothing was coming up, and so I want to make sure I articulate it. It is E and, right, the and sign, the P, suggestibility test, and I do think there is a sexuality test, right? And so before we started, we did the ENP suggestibility test, and what she noted was that this helps me be aware of how you learn and where you're suggestible. Well, she ends up, after we come out, she tells me my suggestibility test scores, and I land smack dab in the middle between what I was experiencing. And so what began to happen was that she was giving words and affirming a lot of what I already know to be true about myself, a lot of what I've experienced, but I haven't had the words. And so it made it less legit in my experience because I didn't know how to describe what I was experiencing. And so once she told me that I hit smack dab in the middle of the test, what's happening is that the test is a spectrum. We have physical and we have emotional, and we can go anywhere on the scale. But me, oh no. Just like, who knows how many other people in the world. I'm smack dab in the middle, which means There's a part of me that's very connected. Well, actually, let me read, the notes for the physical. I'll start with the emotional. There's a part of me that is emotional, that's analytical, that compartmentalizes information, that spends a great deal of time in the know, in the work, in the churning of how I feel. I spend a great time thinking about how I feel. I realize that I am not my body, but I have a body, right? I take in, I wrote this wrong, excuse me. In fact, I realize that I am not my body, but I have a body. I need more alone time than most people because I'm always spending so much time thinking about my emotions. I need that time to kind of sort that out so that I can control what happens to my body, so I can control and protect myself in that way. It says I was supposed to etymology this word before I got on here, but I didn't, so I ain't even gonna cap. I know what the word means, but I don't know. But for, the emotional side, I talk literally, but I hear inferentially, right? And so that's the emotional side. That was the 50%, right? And then there was this other side of me that was physical, that realizes or says, I am this body, right? I have a strong link between my mind and body, and I take information literally, right? Or, I speak inferentially, but I hear literally, right? Or I use my physical body as a defense, right? So once she broke down the difference between emotional and physical and told me that I'm right in the middle, once I learned I was right in the middle, the next thing I learned is that makes me super susceptible, right? That makes me super susceptible to be influenced. And I was like, holy smack, here goes something else telling me this about myself. And at first I was like, man, I don't want to be in the middle because it don't give me nothing definite, right? Because in human design, we know that there are 9 centers in the body. Out of all 9, I only have 2 defined centers, meaning the other 7 are open to, the word is not interpretation, but the word is I'm open, which means, let's just say, I know one of my undefined centers is my root. Let's just say you come into my reality and you have a defined root. I'll take your word as gold. You'll be out here puppeting me, type of vibe, or influencing me type of vibe. And so I'm easily influenced. But then this also leads to the other discoveries I learned about myself, is because I came into this world with not a lot of boundaries, meaning I can see myself in everything and everyone, right? That separation is sometimes hard, right? And it makes my experiences different, right? And I was like, holy smack, this makes sense. If I'm being 100, I didn't want to say it because I thought it was something negative until I did this hypnotherapy session. Is that the main reason I got off of social media is that I was easily influenced. I could not open up that app and see something and not try to use it to make it mean something in my life, whether that was exercising, a business plan, a relationship, whatever. It was like, no matter, I couldn't take the information on Instagram or social media and just leave it as that information. It somehow got its way into my life and started influencing me. And I didn't want to say that. One of the reasons I got off of social media that I shared was that everybody is sharing their idea of success, and I'm still determining that. Like I sauced it in there, threw it in there a little bit. But if we're just being honest, it's just that I feel like I have no me when I'm on social media. I'm just malleable and I'm doing what everybody else doing or whatever the case may be, and that just does not feel good. After doing this hypnotherapy session and learning that I am more susceptible, further reaffirming that, like, yo, you are impressionable because you have all of these open centers, because you lie smack dab in the middle of the susceptibility test. This is what you can do to further understand the balance, because the balance is what we want, but we have to understand what we gain by being in balance. Because if I'm used to being in one side of the other, i.e. compartmentalizing how I feel but thinking about it heavy, not identifying and disassociating with my body, if I'm doing that too much, then I'm never going to get enough of the other side, or know how that other side can help me in maneuvering it in that way. And so, I mean, learning that about myself was like the key takeaway that I really wanted to share. That, like, yes, it did not work per se. I didn't really see no past life. I didn't see none of that happening. But I learned so much about myself that was just riveting, that can end a lot of the suffering that I impose upon myself by the misuse of my mind, right? But I don't have to go through that anymore because I've had this particular experience, right? And so some other things that I wrote in my journal that really helped me that I want to share with you is like the nervous system hack. She led me into a meditation where it wasn't overwhelming. A lot of times for me, as we just deduced, you know, I'm really thinking about my feelings 9 times out of 10 and how that impacts other people or other people's feelings. And so I'm not always in my body. And I have to work to come in here, whether that's exercising, you know, stretching, meditation. Like, I make an active effort to live inside of my body and not just use it as, like, you know, a meat sack. But sometimes a lot of times what I make the mistake of doing is not being in my body, let's just say all day, but I've been hopping and bopping activity to activity, and then I just try to force myself to be in there. This is what'll happen. I'll be on my back meditating, right? On my back meditating. It's getting juicy. I feel it about to envelop me. I feel my toes, all my hands, my arms, my forearm, my neck, my eyebrows. I feel everything simultaneously, and I just felt the warmth of peace coming over me. And then all of a sudden I go, and then I'll have to walk myself all the way back down into that meditation because it's like I'm nervous or afraid, or I just haven't let go. But what she suggested I do is walk myself into meditation, and I tried it yesterday and it worked. I didn't jolt up. I didn't get freaked out or get scared. And so essentially what I did was I thought of a sacred room that I was going to, and in that sacred room was my inner child. I have an image in my head of me and this little ballerina tutu. Sis is popping, and she's just beautiful and just beaming with joy. And I think about, in the sacred room, I'm gonna go hang out and spend time with her. But I don't just bust in the door and be like, what up? What up? I don't. I savor the moment. I walk step by step and feel like, oh shit, I'm coming, baby. We coming. I'm finna go see Chester. Ooh. And then it's like 19. That was one step. 18. That was another step. Yeah. I swear, for me, in the meditation yesterday, I knew I had got to like 5. I said, oh, I don't know what nobody at. I'm here. It feel good. All right, peace out. And next thing I know, I had woke up 3 minutes before my alarm went off for my 30-minute meditation. And so I got so good in that meditation that I was able enough to quiet my mind to fall asleep in my body, and it felt good. So hacking the nervous system was a great jewel that I learned from my hypnotherapy session to better support myself in my everyday life. And so what that looked like was what I described. I start with 4x4 breathing. So inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4. And then I walk myself down the staircase at 20 steps. She told me to walk myself out of it, but I woke up. I woke up, wasn't no counting out. I said, oh, I'm here and I feel great. What's up? Okay. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's what I learned. I just wanted to share that because that was crazy. Okay? That was crazy. Get you some. Get you some hypnotherapy. If you're interested, comment on this video. Say, get me some. Get me some hypnotherapy, and I will contact you directly and share the information of the hypnotherapist that helped me. Sis is fire. It was a crazy experience. I'm definitely coming back. Definitely doing it again because we realized she can take me deeper into meditation or deeper into hypnosis. I was about to say deeper into hypno, excuse me. But she can take me deeper into hypnosis to where I am losing that analytical side of myself, and I can just be present, can just be in this physical body, you know. And so I'm gonna keep at it, keep doing this. I'm gonna learn how to do self-hypnosis, all of this cool stuff, and I'll be sure to share it. But hey, just make this video to encourage you to try it, to share my story, because we all know I like to share what I be going through, share my spiritual experiences. But yeah, family, that's it. I just wanted to share what my first hypnotherapy session was like and what I gained from it. Yeah, I ain't get to see nothing about no past lives. We'll get there, but I learned so much about myself and the life that I'm living right now. And you can't beat that. So, as always, until next time, I love you, man. Peace out.